and welcome to the Gamers Table. It is Monday, and we're reviewing Cosmos, a contest winner. I believe this was for the procedural map grows as you play the game type contest. If not,
from
write
the
in
Game
comments.
Crafter.
Yes. That normally they don't get on the regular show, but when it's contest winners, we bring them to the regular show.
This game has nothing to do with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
You are the leader of a private space colonization effort. As you stretch back the dark borders of unknown space, buyers from Earth approach you to purchase the rare resources you control, build up your infrastructure to fulfill the requests, and play the market to get the best price, while competing with other colonists for biggest pile of cash in the cosmos.
For biggest pile of cash in the cosmos?
Yeah,
Okay.
if both of those were missing, the Russian accent would work. With one of them, it's just silly. You get sticks that represent wormholes, and domes that represent colonies, spaceships that represent your frontier probes, and 3 cubes to mark your actions, action sheets,
Rulebook and black cubes for demand markers, and the first player token and points
that are money.
represented by dollars.
Yes, that is never mentioned.
Players are supplied separately.
So
Nice
I
big
want to
rulebook.
jump in on this right away. Just from reading that, build your infrastructure first, and then play around with the market. There was no time for that.
No.
The game ends when you either go through the deck of the various systems which all
The
have
tiles.
a resource. Yeah, the hex grids. And then the cards that have your delivery actions and other bonus stuff.
Yeah.
This deck in our 3-player game went through very quickly. There was no market playing. It was pretty much the cards that gave you points without doing deliveries were the big winners, where there was no time to really manipulate the market very much before the game was over. So it was 25 points for your 4 or 5 frontiers.
For 5 frontiers.
For 5
Yeah.
frontiers.
And the
For four
the
frontiers.
highest delivery we achieved near the end of the game was $9 for my 3 gold, I think, because you had 8.
Yeah.
I like the cards. There's definitely a nice variety. Like, some of these cards are really hard to do, like delivering 5 diamonds. I mean, it's possible, but it's difficult to do deliveries in this game because you have to build your infrastructure. You got to build the wormholes, and then you got to draw the cards to get the resources that you have. And the game, as much as I didn't mind the actual game itself, but it didn't allow enough time to actually manipulate the market like you'd like, or do enough deliveries to make it a viable win. I think the best key to victory here is to draw cards until you get the 2 or 3 cards that give you the most points for not even delivering.
You set up the game by you shuffle up the Cosmos cards deck, shuffle up everything but the Earth of the planet tiles, take out 5, because it says take out different for 4 more players. There's only enough stuff in here for 3 players, so this is basically a 3-player game as it was shipped to us. I'm assuming that after the contest was over, he added in the more players parts because there was a price limit that he had to hit for the contest. It has to be $24.99, I believe.
Okay.
Which is really tough because, well, you've seen the games I design. They're all like $60 boxes. Sorry, I make games with lots of parts. I like parts. Anyway, then you take the Earth and put 1 tile beside it, and that starts it, and there's nothing on the market. And you give each person all their stuff, and they get 1 point. Points, as we said, actually are dollars. And you have to read through the rule book as it is and infer that it never says, by the way, the dollars are points.
Yeah, because this is your draw deck of cards, which you use for deliveries and other bonus points and stuff like that. And once you get through that deck, that's one of the game end conditions. Well, you actually still finish out the whole round when you either empty the tile pile or the draw deck here. But yeah, when you're drawing 3 cards at a time and taking 1 and the rest go to the discard, yeah, it can empty out fairly quickly. But it turned out we actually emptied it with only, I think it was 2 tiles left. So it was fairly close. It came down about almost equally.
Yeah.
Once you get enough tiles down, though, there's more than enough systems to produce whichever you need to deliver anyways.
Yeah, then it becomes, I don't want to explore because it keeps reducing the prices of the stuff I'm trying to deliver. But also in the very end game, it becomes, I do want to explore because that's one more frontier I'll get, that's one more point, and that might be enough. Because Ken beat me by 3 points.
3. And I was not one that was delivering goods and stuff. I don't think I did any actual deliveries of goods.
No,
You
you
just found
you
all
just
Mine
got the
came
broken
down
cards.
to, I wouldn't quite call them broken if I only got 3 points ahead of Craig, because I kind of stalled out after that. That was where most of my points came from, although like, putting out all 5 of my, what do you call them again?
Frontiers.
Frontiers, little rocket ships. It was like, okay, well, you could have called them maybe space probes or something. I don't know, or exploration ships. I don't know, but you are on the frontier of known space or whatever. So that kind of works, but because I wasn't really delivering, and these guys were, especially Craig was delivering and getting lots of points there, I had to find another route, and so I went for the draw cards, and I discovered that hey, there's some cards in here I can work towards meeting without actually making deliveries and finding points another way. It's not bad that way.
So there are 6 options for you to select from, and you have, as we mentioned, 3 cubes. You may not duplicate any action unless you hit the repeat, which basically it wastes a cube, but then you could do the same thing twice if you want to do. Otherwise, you have to do 3 separate things. And it goes, first player does one thing, then next player does one thing, next player does one thing, and around until everybody has used all 3 of their cubes. You all have your own little thing there that tells it, and on the back is sort of an explanation of what they all do. But after you put your first cube down, you can't really be flipping it back to refer to it. But there is also a handy... This is also replicated...
I didn't even know that was on the back.
On the back of the... This is also replicated on the back of the book, so you can leave the back of the book up to see that part. That being said, dude, OCD rules? Really?
Yeah, and so you got your rule book here. You got the, I don't know,
Informal and not complete rules.
talky, unorganized, lots of pictures, which is nice. But then you actually
It's
get...
fairly organized.
It's
but-
kind of insulting. You got OCD rules, which actually make sense of all the crap that you read beforehand that was disorganized.
Yeah.
And the ideas were broken. It was just...
Well, I wouldn't quite call it.
I wouldn't
Disorganized.
waste my
It's
time
not
at the
very
front of the
clear.
rules. I just go right to the OCD rules,
Yeah.
and that's how you learn.
Yeah.
Because actually OCD rules are properly laid out how a rule book should be. They just don't have any
Well-
pictures. And the only thing that makes them, slamming people's OCD is putting the numbers in front of them, which is going a little far and is rather insulting to your target audience that is buying your game. Don't you think? Well, let's say you had 100% felt like it was insulting around this table.
So, wrapping up for Cosmos.
Yes. The theme. Your space explorers exploring around space to bring resources back from space to the Earth. It feels a little tacked on, to be honest. I mean, the theme is nice and it all works together, but it doesn't really connect with what you're doing 100%. It could have been a different skin could have been put on this really easily without it changing any of the gameplay. The core gameplay doesn't say space.
Like say Western.
It's like, or even
Starting in
any exploration
yeah.
of a planet or exploration of a city, anything. It really...
I
It
kind
could
of
be.
like the space cinnamon.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And the space
Cinnamon.
water.
Anyway, but
Well, water's
easy to
valuable.
play. Yeah.
Cinnamon?
It's not a difficult game to play. I mean, there were some minor questions with the rules. You read through the whole rule book, all the pages, get all the examples through your head. It is fairly simple to play, fun to play. It started out a little, yeah, but it got not bad. It was kind of fun. I mean, we sort of started challenging each other, but there is the random aspect of those cards coming up and taking demand off of something that you've been trying to get worth something, and now it's worthless again. And it's never covered in the rules, but the assumption we're making is if there are no demand cubes on there, that is worth 0, and if you deliver it, you get 0 times your delivery, which is 0. I give Cosmos a 6.5.
It's not bad, but I'm not sure how balanced it is. Like Chris had an issue with some of the cards that were in the Cosmos deck here, with how much they'd be worth, like all in one grab. Like I had one where put out 4 of my Frontier ships, and then I scored 25 points. But when I ended up only like 3 points ahead of Craig, because I kind of like after a while kind of stalled out and I wasn't really getting anywhere, then not delivering anything really. He caught up, and Chris was on his way to catching up. He still had a fair point gap there. Basically, if the game's supposed to be an explore, produce resources and stuff like that, then the rest would just be bonus. And everybody would be working towards the that resource race and the whole, what do you call it? Resource
Market.
chart market. That's the one. We're working towards manipulating the market a little bit more. But as far as gameplay, I don't know. I didn't mind it too much. It did get better. But so I'll give it a 6 myself.
So this game is go out, find resources, bring them back to Earth, but they're not worth anything, so why are we even going out to begin with? There is no value on any of the resources before we start. So it doesn't make any sense. Why are we going out? Why are we going to this expense to build colonies to bring stuff back that nobody wants, because we're not putting any markers on? There's no value at the start.
Right.
So that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. For me, like, I'm not a big fan of this game, but I felt the game needed to go further so you could actually get the market, make it work, because you start with nothing on it. There's no reason to go out there. Nothing's worth anything. Go out there and get stuff. Why? You don't want it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it contradicts the manipulation of the market there.
Well,
I mean, by the time you get your infrastructure in, playing the game is pulling cubes off, putting them on, pulling them off. This is highly restrictive, only being able to do 3 actions, and they all have to be different. Like maybe colonize, you could spend extra money to put another colony on. Like maybe some actions you would limit, like drawing cards. I could see you only being able to do once. There's just a bunch of things that bothered me, but could easily be fixed to make it a better game.
Yeah, for that one in particular, you could just put some of them have 2 pictures of squares on, showing you can do this one twice and only this one once.
Yeah.
And for the market, what we thought the good idea, sorry to jump into Chris's end here, was to put number of players cubes on each one to start, so they all have some demand, some reason to go out and try and find them.
Well, in the one game we played, you delivered cinnamon for nothing.
Yeah.
It's like, I got cinnamon. We didn't want cinnamon. We don't want cinnamon.
Oh, right.
Oh. This game, I think, fails at what it was trying to do in the first place, where you'd go out and get the resources, bring them back to Earth, and then you bring them back to Earth, and people are like, why are you bringing that? We don't want it. Here, we'll give you like $1 for it. It's like, well, that didn't make any sense. I had to go through 5 other people's different wormholes to bring this stuff back, and I'm bringing it at a loss. So why did I even go out to begin with? At the core of this game, I think, is the getting the resources and bringing them back to Earth. And when you can get, it was like 2 or 3 cards out of the deck that had absolutely nothing to do with delivery, that literally won you the game, because they're a huge amount of points, like 25 points, and the best delivery we got was 9 points. I give Cosmos a 5.
So that's it for this episode of the Gamers Table. Tune in next week where we review another game.
Because that's what we do.
See you, bye.
Explore and delivery.
Sorry.
I need your help. My brother. He's missing.
Nah, so tell it to the cops, dollface.
I have nowhere else to go.
So tell me about your brother.
He works at the university, doing research for several of the professors. Internet searches for strange happenings. Things of that sort.
Strange happenings? What kind of strange happenings?
He's heading to the apartment. Should I stop him?
What the hell is this thing?
Don't make me come back down here again, Carmichael. You need to back off.
Look, Rach, I've got a case. And I need your help. I'm being tailed by lurking strangers and warned off the case by angry cops.
He contacted her, just like you said he would.
Very well. Perhaps we should lend Mr. Carmichael some assistance ourselves.